one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the podcast is like, from my understanding, this guy is a very shy and quiet person. How does he blossom to this, what we see today? And like, that's a really big deal because some people never break out of the shell and they don't get
Yeah.
to, go to the next level of their potential because of those blockages and things like that. So, were you hooping way back in third grade?
I picked it up. I picked basketball up when I was 10 years old
Okay,
because when I moved back to Saginaw, no one on this side of the bridge really played organized soccer.
exactly.
And I was in Lansing for 2 years playing organized soccer. So when we moved back,
Great place,
I'm ready
right?
to play.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm ready to play. No one does it. And the only time you could play was for the YMCA soccer league that went on for like 3 or 4 weeks. So it
That's
was
what I
never really
thought.
organized.
Hmm.
So yeah, I was not a hooper. My
Wow.
coach who taught me how to play basically asked me what do I want to do, and my only goal for basketball was to be able to be picked up on a team, a Gus Macker team.
Wow. And then he
I
goes
was
on
that
to play
bad.
D1.
Yeah, I was that bad where nobody would ever pick me up on their Gus Macker team. So my only goal was, can you help me get good enough so people would ask me to be on their Gus Macker team?
Okay, so as someone who's played basketball since I was 4 years old, I saw that. And that's another reason I wanted to have you on. Like, this guy is not a hooper, but look at
Yeah,
him. Look at
yeah,
this guy, like look at him on the court. Look at his work ethic. Look at he's in the running for Mr. Basketball, but I could see he's late in his development of
yep,
basketball. And you're not, there's no flash to your game. There's not like this
nope.
and one. This is not what you're about. You're about work.
It's
It's
all work.
different.
It's all hard
Yeah,
work.
yeah. It's
Yeah, my
different.
my biggest goal, even then, my coach will tell you when they do write-ups about him, he always brings me up
Yeah,
because I started the lowest of the low.
you can
I
feel it.
was the worst of all the kids. I was tall, but I was the
Yeah.
worst of all the players.
Mm-hmm.
But I was the first person to the gym every day, and I
First
was the last
person.
person to leave the gym.
Yep.
And so that was my kind of my calling card. I was never going to let anybody outwork me.
That's what I felt. I'm like, I was looking, I'm like, I think I can take this guy. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, as a coach, there's only a few people who sit down. There's only a few people
Yeah.
who sit down on defense. And I was like,
Yeah.
and when someone sits down on defense, like it's a different ball game. It's a whole new
Yeah.
game, a whole new sport, basically. And I'm like, okay, this guy's sitting down on defense. It's like you and Jeremiah, like Jeremiah was sitting on defense, but he was a little too like he was shuffling too much. Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't
Yeah.
move unless I move. Like, Eugene's like, excuse me, Jeremiah's like bouncing all over the place. Like, okay, I can take this guy. But you wouldn't move unless I move. And like you said, the reaction time is like, oh, this is a different breed. This is like me, actually.
Yeah.
This is someone cut from my same cloth. And like I had to be careful in regard to, I'm like, this is someone who's putting in work, but I could feel like there's like holes in the game. There's like development. Like if someone keeps teaching this guy's like sky's the limit. That's how I felt
Yep.
when just the short times that we even got to see each other. This was mostly our sophomore year, actually. So I
Yeah.
don't even remember seeing you junior and senior year. I just had to do research and saw how well you did. But right
Yeah.
away, you're someone I just respected so much because I saw the work. I just saw it right away. And how many seconds is that into the game? Because I
Right.
didn't know any of you guys except for the track guys. So
That's true. And those guys, those were the talented guys.
those were
They
the
had the
talented
talent.
guys. Right.
Yeah, I watched them play basketball. I watched them play, run track. I watched them play football. And then when basketball came out early on, I watched them play basketball.
You
You
watched them
know,
play
I was,
basketball. How do you make that jump then, especially with the shyness? Because again, you go back to someone I guess I'll talk about a lot. Like Jeremiah, he's boisterous, he's loud, and there's like this like intimidation. You know how it is. Like still being from
yeah.
Sacramento, you know what it's like in the courts. Like can I play? Like what do you even say? How do you make it to start playing with the group? Making that jump because you could easily not do that. you know.
It's I saw people who didn't assert themselves. And
Exactly.
then I saw the people who did, and I knew that if I was going to make it, it was totally different from Lansing.
Hmm.
Uh, so I knew that if I was going to make it with this group, not only was I going to have to learn how to play basketball, but I was going to have to be, even if I could turn it on when I played basketball, I was going to have to be aggressive while I
Hmm.
played or
Hmm.
before the game, so people would even pick me up on their team.
Hmm.
Um, I would have to be kind of assertive or call next. And I remember, even we had a little court outside behind Salina,
Hmm.
and you'd go over there to play, and it'd be 20, 30 people over there. You could call your next as a kid my size, and an older guy would just come take it and play,
Dang.
and so
Hmm.
that happened so many times to the point where it was like, no, I have next and you're going to wait. And then you do that, you stand up for yourself, and then they kind of respect you like, okay, little man, you go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. So that's what I wanted to know is like, where were you guys even hooping at? So there was a court behind your elementary school. What was it? We had a place called Pheasant Run. That's where we did a lot of basketball. That's where I learned to play basketball, basically. Like started with my dad, but then it moved on to there, like the trash talk, how not to get ripped while you're dribbling, like
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
dribbling it alone. You're like, dang, like you can take the ball so easily from me. So you had to learn how to do that, how to get your shot over people who are bigger than you. What was it like playing over there behind the school? Uh, who was out
It
there,
was it was kind of tough. It was
Mhm.
the older guys were guys like T Robe.
Okay.
I
He was
don't know
out
if you
there.
know who Puncho, uh, Alton
Mm-mm.
Sanders.
Okay,
Alton
yep, yep.
Sanders
Hmm.
played at BV. Yeah, we
Yeah,
call
yep.
him Puncho.
Okay, Puncho.
Uh,
Hmm.
you had the Nickelberry boys will come every now and then.
Oh, wow. I haven't
But
heard
these
that name
were
in a long
all
time.
yeah,
Yeah,
these were all older guys, and
yeah,
we most of the time ended up watching them play.
yeah.
And then when they were done, us little kids would come over and try to get in as much as we could before it got
Mm,
dark.
mm,
And so it was, as you get older and older, it was just showing them that you could play with them,
yep.
showing them that you could. So you go from the south side over there, then we go over to Vets and play over at
Mm,
Vets Park.
mm,
And that was the other outside, summertime, springtime. If you could get over there, you could play at Vets Park. And Vets Park, there was the main court. Everybody's goal was to play on the main
mm,
court. But the only way to
mm.
get to the main court is to win at the side courts.
Of course.
And so, going over there and proving to people, not that I was just, again, when I got put into the Hall of Fame, my biggest thing was that not that I'm the most talented player out here. I never felt that way. I became that.
Yeah,
I earned the talent. I worked for
you
the
earned
talent,
it.
but I didn't wake up with the talent. You
Yeah.
know, I had to work for it every day, and so I became one of those players that people wanted on their teams, and that was the biggest thing. And the last place we played was the Civitan.
Oh, what is that?
Um,
Okay.
the Civitan Rec Center is right off of 675. It's closed now, but it
Mm,
used to be right downtown,
mm-hmm.
right on the other side of the Dow Event Center. If you
That's what
go
I
over
figured because of the
675,
name.
it's right
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's called the Civitan Rec Center, man, and it was the place where you know it's where we grew up in basketball. This is
Didn't
where
you
you
also play at the
show.
Boys and Girls Club? Did they have a court?
The boys and girls didn't have a court, but they would do programming out of other places that had
Mm,
courts.
mm. Because I
So
met a lot
First
of them when
Ward,
I was young too. Yeah, First Ward, exactly. We played them.
yeah,
They played
yeah.
them in
So
football
those
too.
the NABE, the NABE had
Mm.
some the neighborhood house. We had a small court there, but we would play against First Ward. We play against the Civitan. We play against all the different people.
Okay. That was one of